everyone, welcome to Men on Fire. My name is Micah Wren, a former mechanic and engineer turned transformational teacher. And each week I'll deliver an inspiring message to help you excavate those repressed inner negative feelings and install new thoughts that will finally allow you to truly become the person you were born to be. Welcome to another episode of Men on Fire here on Soul Mechanic TV and Soul Mechanic Radio. Now, today this episode is my 98th Men on Fire episode. Now, I did some other videos before that, but I'm not counting those. This is under the Men on Fire label. So, as I'm getting close to my 100th episode, and I'm recording actually this afternoon another one besides this one, so that'll be 99, I'm hoping that some of you people that are watching are subscribing and ringing that bell, because it really helps me out. Even if you're just watching them for a few minutes, or you're watching the whole video, which I certainly hope so. I know some of them are a little longer, some are nice and short. But if you could subscribe, it certainly helps me bring this message to many, many more people. And don't forget to look down below, because I have a lot of links where I'd love to help you out with anything you need help with. And if it's something specific, leave a comment. Let me know, and I can help you. So, today's show, I want to talk about something very, very important to all of us. And it's called relationships. Yes, relationships. We all have them, sometimes whether we like to or not, but we also need them because we're social animals. As we all found out during this pandemic in the last couple of years, that we lacked that social connection between people, and something like this for Zoom could help, especially over distance. But it's not really the real thing, is it? So I wanted to talk about relationships. And, many times they're affected by our beliefs about things. And our beliefs are nothing more than things that we do over and over and over again. And they become habits. And then our habits become a certain belief. If I know that if I do this, this is the outcome, that's the habit, but it's also a belief. You believe it now, that if you do this, that will get you that. So that becomes a belief in your lifetime. And what happens is when we're born, even before we're born, actually, from the ages of about 0 to 6 or 0 to 7, we are just like sponges. Our brain waves are at a different frequency, and we're just taking everything in because it's nature's way of helping us to become self-sufficient in the future. And we need to do that. So our entire environment, no matter what that is, whether it's in the womb or whether it's with our parents or our siblings, whatever environment we're in, we're constantly just observing, and it's just being recorded, or being taken a copy of, like a Xerox machine, and put into our brain. And those things are what we revert to when we feel stress or anxiety later on in life. We don't know how to act. Well, we revert to those original programs that are put in there. But the good news is we can alter those programs, and we can change them as we go. And many times in relationships, we start to act the same way that maybe we saw or heard or were exposed to during those early years. And I've had many relationships with people, and I'm coworkers, friends. I changed jobs. I was in the Navy. I was a mechanic. I was an engineer. I worked lots of different places, so I always had to make new friends. So you have more and more relationships, and people come into our lives, but it doesn't mean they have to stay, right? I mean, sometimes we're only friends with somebody for 6 months or 5 years or 10 years, and then we drift apart, and that's okay. And sometimes we reconnect, sometimes we never will. Those people were in our lives for a reason, and we were in their lives for a reason. But relationships, especially romantic relationships, are a a form of stress that many times we think we need them. But the truth is, we don't need them. Matter of fact, you don't need anybody, but you need yourself. Now, I'm not saying you don't want to be with somebody or you shouldn't be with anybody. I'm just saying right now, if you're alone listening to this podcast, you don't need anybody else. You're fed, you have a roof over your head, you've done everything you need to do to be on your own, so you don't need anything because you've just proven that, or anybody, right? But many of us want to either be in the right relationship or maybe change our relationship with the one we're already in. And the frustration comes when, for example, for me, when I was 48 years old, 47 years old, and my first wife and I, who were together for almost 26 years, we met in school, actually, grade school, dated through high school, ended up getting married at a young age, 22 years old. And, we had a great life together, but, you change as you grow, as you get a little bit older. And I just changed a little bit too much for our relationship, and I needed to stretch out. And there were so many more things I wanted to do in my life, but I wasn't able to do in that relationship. So that changed. But when I was then on the market, shall we say, because you're looking for some companionship again, or someone to be friends with, especially of the opposite sex. And so I went ahead and did that, and I had a relationship that I thought that was really going to work out, but and I really wanted that person in my life. I needed them. I felt I needed them. And things were okay for a while, actually quite good, but then they fell apart and they were really, really bad again. And that wasn't my first relationship I had. I had about 3, and I said, you know what? I'm just sick and tired. I'm swearing off of women. I don't need women anymore. Some of the head games I had gone through, some of the differences between the way men and women think got in the way. I wasn't mature enough relationship-wise to know what to do. I'd only been in really one relationship for 26 years. So I wasn't practiced at this. So we all make mistakes. But I started to grow as a person. So I said, you know what? I'm just not going to date anybody. I need to work on myself. I need to like who I am, because many times, we want people to like us, but we don't even like ourselves. We don't even love ourselves yet. We don't even know who we really are, because you know what? I was I was a marine engineer. I was a power engineer. I was an industrial mechanic, a millwright. I was a father. I was a husband. On and on. Those are the things I were, or at the time. But, those are just labels. That's not who I really am inside, deep inside. So I needed to discover that. So I said, the heck with it. I'm not going to try to date anybody, because I need to focus on me. And what happens when you do that, you're not forcing anything anymore. Because I was trying to force that relationship to work. Instead of allowing to flow, I was trying to force it. So that never really works out well in life. I'm sure you've done that yourself, and not necessarily in relationships, but you've tried to force other things to happen in your life. And usually when you do that, it ends up going wrong. It just isn't right, because you've forced it to happen instead of allowing it to flow into your life. So I decided that I would do that. And after doing that, and working on myself, and discovered that I didn't really need anybody. It's not that I didn't want anybody in my life, I just didn't need them, right? And they don't need me, because I should be 100% for myself, and they should be 100% for themselves. And then you support that, and they support you. Because if you're 100% for each other, then you can almost add that together and be 200% together. But you have to realize that you are for yourself. You love yourself. You have to like yourself. And many times we don't even know ourselves. So what happened to me was I just got on a different frequency. Like when you're trying to force things and trying to make somebody like you, or whatever that happens to be, it could be a coworker. You're down here, but when you decide to love yourself and like yourself, you get up here. You're no longer down here. So now you're at a different frequency. Everything in the universe is energy and vibrates at a certain frequency. And that frequency you give off is like a magnet. And other people of the same frequency are attracted to that. So when I changed, and I wasn't looking for anybody, any relationship whatsoever, when I changed and started to love myself and be comfortable in my own skin and who I am, then I attracted somebody naturally. And we were attracted together, and I found out she was also in a relationship that went sour, and she also did the same thing. She wasn't looking for anybody anymore. But somehow we were at the same frequency, attracted to each other. And that's my wife now, Geeta. And our relationship has been great. We're strong together. We both work in a common cause. Yet, I just reminded her the other day, you have to be 100% for you, because she has some decisions to make. And I said, just do what you think you need to do, and I'm here to support you. And vice versa. So your relationship can grow when you're not trying to force it. You're allowing it to flow. And this goes for all sorts of relationships, either with siblings or parents, coworkers, peers. Some of the people in our lives, we just have to not eliminate, but we have to maybe not hang with them so much anymore, right? We don't see them as often because they're not allowing us to grow inside. We keep reverting to the same behavior. I have 4 really good friends that I went to high school with. We still hang around together. But some of that behavior that we do, even when we get together, is a little bit destructive. And that's not the greatest for any of us. So we probably don't get together as often as we used to, although we still love each other's company, and we still do some foolish things together, which is great. And you need to let loose a little bit. But you don't always have to be with that person or that friend, and just to know that you care about each other and you love each other and you enjoy when you get back together and pick things up where you were. So don't take it so harshly and so seriously, but the relationships that you will have as you change and not try to force them will be awesome. They will be totally different than what you've had where you're trying to make people like you or make people love you. And as children, many times we get stuck in that, right? Either our parents, there's competition between siblings. We're trying to get their attention. So sometimes we even do bad things just to get attention. And it happens in school. We act out in school. I went to the principal's office many times acting out, or something happened. And maybe that was an expression of attention for me. My sister was 4 years older. She seemed to get a little bit more attention many times. So I just kind of went my own way and did things somehow to get attention. We all fall into these traps. These are all human things and things that our brain helps us do in order to apparently survive. But you have to realize you don't need all this stuff. You can just focus on being you and being the best you can be. And you don't have to be somebody you're not. You just have to be a little bit better than you were yesterday. And remember what happened to you and your memories, and that helps you move forward. So don't worry about any kind of connection to the past. The past is here to learn, for us to learn and give us lessons for us to know in the future. That's it. Don't worry about it. Don't sit there and grieve over it or fret over it or anything like that. Leave the past behind. Work on you right now in this present moment, and your future will change. Your life will change. If you work on yourself, get to a higher frequency, and you will attract all those people, like-minded people, and your life will change. I'm telling you, you won't even recognize yourself 5 years from now when you give this practice. Well, actually, 5 months from now. It works that fast, folks. So, that is my little spiel on relationships for today. And I hope you liked this episode. And if you do, please subscribe, hit that bell, and you'll get notified of a new episode of Men on Fire at any time. So, relationships, very important. Work on you. You need the work. If you're sitting there saying that everybody is like this or so-and-so and the world's against you, the problem is probably with you, not the world. So, work on you. You can do it. And don't forget, you're the one. Take care, and bye for now. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. As always, keep what feels good and dump what doesn't. And remember, live without judgment, give without expectation, and love for no reason. Follow those 3 simple expressions, and you'll be well on your way to an inspirational, intentional, and successful life. Until next time, you're the one.